Cesar Soto with Ministry. You're watching EMGtv. You're watching 5 Minutes with me, Cesar Soto. So my favorite riff to play live would have to be Just One Fix. Reason being is the power behind the riff, and it's moving. It's pretty destructive to the chest, especially front of house. But when we start that song and when that riff starts, just to watch the crowd's involvement, kind of just, it's a recycled energy that just comes to the stage and it feeds back. It's very energetic. It's very powerful, very moving for me. And it goes like this. So a riff that every guitar player should know how to play would have to be Battery by Metallica off the Master of Puppets album. Reason being, intricate picking is good for the right hand. And it goes like this. So what is my favorite guitar body style and why? It would have to be the Explorer. Reason being, it just fits. It just fits my body well. It sits perfectly. The balance is perfect, and it's just my vibe, just my kind of vibe. Plus, it's pretty sexy. You know, with a white pickguard, it's like putting a suit on when you get up on stage. So that's why I love it. So my most memorable performance and live moment of all time was actually my very first show with Ministry. After rehearsing with a band for only 2 weeks, that was my introduction, just 2 weeks rehearsing. And first show was in Adelaide, Australia. It was probably about 115 degrees on stage. Which was pretty normal for me because I'm a desert child, so that was pretty normal. And it was actually in front of about 40,000 people, so that was my first show. And I remember Al looking at me before we went on, and I had my guitar strapped to me, and his only request was, "Hey man, I know you're a good guitar player and all, but do me a favor and just don't freak out and don't get, deer in the headlights." And that wasn't the case. So as soon as we started, it just felt like home, But that had to be my most memorable experience live because it was my first show with the band, and to top it off in front of about 40,000 people at a festival. That had to be most memorable performance of all time for me. So if someone came in and tried to jack my pedal board and I had one pedal to keep on there, I would probably, pull one of my overdrives out of the chain and do anything to fight anybody off for it, whether it be a tube screamer. A classic tube screamer is always a good pedal to have. You never know what tube amp is going to need. A little bit of a boost, a little bit of an edge. So, Pedal Police ain't taking that pedal from me. Do I have a doppelganger? Some people say I do, and I've heard this thousands and thousands of times from many people around the world. And as soon as I hear the words, "Do you know who you look like?" come out of their mouth, I already know. I know, Kim Thale. So, quick backstory of my joking personality. We're playing a show somewhere in Canada. I think it was around 2017, and a group of people came up to me. Actually, this one person came up to me and said, "Do you know who you look like?" And I waited for it. I already knew what the answer was going to be. And they said, "Kim Thale." I was like, wow, I've never heard that one before. That's awesome, which is great because that's, who wouldn't want to be, mistaken or compared to the looks of Kim Thale. It's Kim Thale, legend, right? So I proceeded with my joking manner and the way that I am and straight-faced. I said, "Well, that's funny that you mentioned because Kim Thale's my father." And, they freaked out. I went and got a couple of friends. They came back. "I told you, that's who he looks like. That's his dad." So bus call comes around and I'm kind of rolling with a joke. And I never got a chance to say, "Hey, I'm kidding." So there's people in Canada that think that Kim Thale is my father. Fast forward to last year's tour, which is the Mind is a Terrible Thing to Taste anniversary. We're out with the Melvins and COC. We're playing in Seattle. Melvins are setting up to sound check, and Buzz was telling some stories about the scene in Seattle. And I told him about my story, about my Kim Thale story, and I ended by saying, "Man, I really wish I could meet him one day and tell him that story." And he said, "All right, stick around. He'll be here in 10 minutes. So I waited in the dressing room and I watched people walk in and out of that hallway at the Showbox Soto in Seattle. And there goes Kim Thale, walks by. About 10 minutes later, Buzz comes in and he goes, "Come on, I'm gonna introduce you." So I walk in and got a chance to hear some of the most legendary stories. When you're in a room full of dudes like that, you just zip up and stay quiet because you just want to hear these amazing stories, right? So I got a chance to tell the story and I waited for his reaction. He goes, "I could see that." So, that was pretty cool. Young Kim. Awesome.